You're such an asshole.
Okay, gather round, kids. Uncle Cappy is going to tell you a story. This was paid for by Laughing Lark, and she's a nice lady, and she tunes in. She paid me $20. It's I am, of course, as always, here. I will do it. And I don't think I've ever told the story all the way through. I've told bits and pieces of the story as it pertained to whatever topic I was talking about at the time. But I'll give you the one, and you guys can learn all these lessons, and it'll be a nice, heartwarming Christmas story. So I was maybe 30 or 31. It's quite some time ago. And I was a full-fledged captain by this time. I was and admittedly there were shiny bars, but I was no longer a lieutenant. I was very experienced and probably about as wise as I am now, but obviously without that many more years of experience. But I wasn't a dope. Fully had taken the red pill. It may not even been called that back then in those times, but I was no rookie. I had dated enough. I had had a horrible breakup. Then went through a spate of born again Christian girls that went to Christian cult colleges. This and that. So there was no expectation. I mean, this was modern day latest Mark 7 to come off the assembly line, Cappy. So I was at this salsa club in downtown Minneapolis, which no longer exists. Actually, it wasn't downtown. It was Loring Park. But no one goes downtown anyway because it's all burnt down. And so salsa was all the rage of the thing and the stuff. So I remember me and my buddy, we were there. I was a pretty good salsa dancer. I wasn't the best, but I was pretty good. And I remember walking from outside into, so had it been summer, into the place, and I saw this like a 10, drop dead 10, gorgeous, brunette, brown hair, brown eye, just gorgeous body. I think the second best, there was one that was better, and she was, I think, the Viking or the Timberwolves. I couldn't remember what she was, a professional cheerleader. Well, they all have jobs if you want to know that. But this gal was a very close, but she was a 10, just gorgeous. So I'm like, oh, I can't leave without asking. This girl didn't answer. So I went and asked her to dance. She said yes, and she had an accent. And she knew how to dance. Wasn't spectacular, but she was very good. She knew how to dance, kept the beat and everything like that. I said, thank you. And my strategy back then was you didn't ask them out after you danced with them a couple times. And then like, hey, you want to get a number? We'll go dance at a different place. Things were easier in those times. So I said, thank you for the dance. I turn around, I walk out, and my buddy had also danced. So we're walking out together. And we had taken our seats, which were facing the building so we could see the girls. And we turned around, sat down, and the girl had followed us out, and she was standing there looking at me. I kind of looked at my buddy. My buddy looked at me, because this doesn't happen. It doesn't. And a little side note here for you boys. If something's wrong, like something's weird, like a girl who's really gorgeous, also, yes, something's wrong. It's not right. Something is not right. Something is wrong. And that's 100% every time. It's like, oh, what? I said, did you want to join us? She's like, yes, please. And it was kind of like, now maybe I was naive back then because I thought, well, this is interesting. This is good. The warning signs didn't go off enough. But okay. So we chit chat and we find out she's from Russia. She's a ballet dancer, or was a ballet dancer over there. And that made sense because you could bounce frozen peas off of her ass and it'd make a pinging noise like it was steel. Just ping, ping. Could do that for hours. Well, you got a bag of frozen peas. I'll show you. Come on over. $5 cover. Anyway, I'd be a millionaire. And what flabbergasted me, but didn't make me yet, was that she was nice. And she was somewhat professional. I chalked this up for her being from before Soviet territory, because she was old enough at the time to have grown up under Soviet times. And she was in the Twin Cities going to school. And I was like, oh, she was getting a degree, and I won't say what, because I don't want to identify her because she's already been pretty much identified enough, but no reason to further identify. And we danced a couple more times. I got her number. And, I was like, okay, that's interesting. Now, I'd still like 50, 25. She'll go out if she goes out. And I can't remember the second or third date or anything like that, but we went out dancing. We had a good time. I learned more about her. She had come over here to marry a USGI. Here's where I wasn't putting it together. Now you guys, you're older. Those of you with gray hair, oh, wait. It didn't work out. So her and her mom were there. And she was working to get her degree so she could go and work at a particular profession, which is all good. Well, things were going really well. Now, I am not stupid, nor was I back then stupid enough to think it would be going so well that this was the one. But I was like, this could be like a main plate. This is before plates. In our day, we call them my main squeeze. But now, since it's grape to squeeze something, soon it'll just be sperm banks. That's how we're going to procreate. And there will be no touch. It'll be a lot of fun. People have a grand old time. But I'm like, this gal could definitely be my main squeeze. And definitely she was. So we were dating, and it was her birthday. And it was cold. So we had been dating a bit. And her birthday was coming up. And I said, well, what do you want for your birthday? And I'm like, dinner or something like that. And she says, I don't know. But then she says, I know what I want. And I'm like, okay, this is very interesting. What do you want? And I'm thinking like, Cappy wasn't that rich at this time. I was like, okay, maybe a nice restaurant. I want to go on one of the horse rides. And also more Minnesota culture there, Minneapolis culture. I don't know if they still have them because, again, let's just burn everything down. But along the Mississippi River, there was horse carriage rides. So you went to this place called the Nicollet Island Inn, which is a very nice hotel, by the way. And that's where a guy in that old 1800s type, you have the top hat and white horse, white carriage, out of Disney. And she says, I want to do that. I'm like, oh, like, how much is this going to cost? And, hang on, let me get through this. All right. Cause this is only like a month or two in. There are many angles to this story. So we had not been dating that long, but she was lining up. I'm figuring out where it's going now. All right. So I said, okay. So I dropped what was then maybe $120, and we went around it, had a good old time. It's coming in. Not that old. It's coming together now. So this was like the fourth date, maybe. And we go back to my place. This is going to be the sex date now, right? Birthday, horse carriage ride. This is lining up. It was either third or fourth date by that time. And she wouldn't, and I won't mention how or what or why. She was naked in my bed, but didn't really want to have sex. Well, she wanted to, but there was reasons she couldn't. And no, it's not what you're thinking in terms of a monthly excuse. I'll get to this later. So I'm like, and I won't lie, I was jacked. So I took off my shirt. She's like, you are in really good shape. And I'm like, yeah, thank you. I got there a different way. But I'm thinking like, okay, here we go. I get to tap this gorgeous body and I get bragging rights. Yep. Russian ballerina right here, which the only thing I think you could beat would be like your hot babysitter from back when you were like 10 and then you mature and like she's 31 and you're 28. That'd be about the only other thing you could really top that off with. But I was about, nope. What for reasons that shall remain private. And no, it's not a disease. If you're one, it's not a disease. It wasn't a disease. So I'm like frustrated. And from there on, it kind of went downhill. Where all of a sudden now I was getting 50, 50, 25. Now I was getting stood up. She would say yes, then there'd be a flake. I'd be like, oh, we're going to, and it would be that. And then, of course, then you rotate a new one in. But slowly she was moved out. Well, what ended up happening, I find out, I think maybe it was our last day, or just we talked at I didn't care. The guy she was married to in the military, this is coming from her, beat the ever-living crap out of her. And did so concurrently while having the bedroom fun, which scarred her from having bedroom fun, which led to that crap before, which explained maybe that night, but it did not explain where the heck did you go? And this would be considered the first trial run with the new Mark 8 prototype. Mark 8 prototype, brand new, freshly polished off bar Cappy. Let's see how he flies. Like, nope, he didn't fall for the bait. He's okay. He's still good. Nothing phased. But I was still kind of curious, like, well, what ended up happening one night, she says, oh, I can't. I'm going out with my girlfriends. And we ended up going to the same nightclub accidentally at the same time. And she wasn't lying. She was there with her girlfriends. And what I found out is she became Americanized. Beforehand, poor girl from Russia, not a lot of money, working really hard. Obviously, the marriage did not work out. Had other effects. And I thought maybe traditional, maybe this might lead somewhere. But then, all of a sudden, the flaking, and you could see her. She was a party girl. Slowly, because she wanted to go and have the party lifestyle. And so then, sure enough, she ran into, I'm sure she's dated many other guys since then and all that other stuff. But that's the way that one went. And that's, so it was, how can I say? It was a good story. It had a happy ending because there were no expectations. And that's, I think, of probably the number one thing, the happy Christmas story to take from this is to reel in your expectations with reality. And even though I would have liked to, because it was like, it looked like a platinum bar served to you on a silver plate. Like, holy crap. Girl from second world country, probably brought up poor, has to work hard, appreciated my dancing, liked me for some reason. But I wasn't like, oh, this will be the one. Oh, I found her. I was like, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Sure enough. And there was no mourning or sadness or upsetness. It's just like, oh, those your girlfriends? Cool. All right. Oh, I get it. That's more fun. And then the second thing is just, and you guys are right. A lot of you are like, oh, well, she was, you may speculate as to how she got here with an American serviceman, and your speculations, I am not going to confirm or deny. But the other lesson is nothing looks that good, man. Nothing. If it looks that good, it's not necessarily a trap. It likely is a trap. Okay, likely is. But that's something else. You're not getting the whole story. And so I saw her, I don't know, 10 years later, and she went to pot. It was like, wow. And she was still in okay shape, but her face, I don't know, something with that genetics, her face just like, wow, you're masculine looking. Now you look like a Soviet woman. Now you really do. And that's it. So there's my Russian ballerina story. It's I guess we could use it as a case study, play by play. Oh, see what Cappy did. That was pretty smart. And it was, you'd almost want to consider it one of a victory for the guys, where it's like, all right, yeah, I didn't really get taken. Really didn't have any expectations. Like, oh, okay, we're going to kind of have sex. All right. Okay. You found your girl. All right. Whereas I think, boy, a lot of guys would have gone into more of the stalker type of, you're that close to having a 10 and a Russian ballerina. So, like, no, man, not yours. Not even my turn. Wasn't even my turn. And it wasn't even like other guys got her. It was, she wanted to go and party with her girls. So, okay. All right. Any super chats here? Laughing like, you already paid $20, dear. Thanks, love. Older and wiser now. Yes, much older and wiser. Hey, here's a general rule. I hate to say it, but it's a pretty darn good rule. The hotter she is, the more guaranteed there's something wrong. All right. And I was only an 8, maybe an 8.5 if you include me in my environment dancing, but I was no 10. She was a 10. If the girl is hotter than you and she is talking to you and hitting it, something is way wrong. Way wrong. Something's way off. So I'm not saying don't engage, don't have fun, but have no expectations, and it will end. It will end. And then you can walk away and say, like, hey, I got a Russian ballerina story. Would you like to hear it? And that, sadly, is probably the most value that girl's ever produced for this country. So horrible. Cal Marlin, 20 generous dollars again. Got to support Cappy. Just wanted to say again how much you've helped me over the years. Also, por favor, watch Avatar The Last Airbender. Like Jack recommends, I predict that your favorite character will be Uncle Iroh. All right. All right. Avatar Last Airbender. Now, is this a cartoon? All right. I got to watch that in 13 Assassins. I'm going to go play some video games, though, today. Good one. Good one. All right. I'll see you guys later. Toodles.